Here, the first step, what you're going to do, step one, the critical section request message comes from site P1. Okay. So now he increments the Ri of I plus 1. That is what? Ri in the sense R1, for example, and 0 is the ith element. So n is equal to ith element plus 1. Okay. So 0 plus 1, n becomes 1. So what is the request they are going to send? Say, for example, P1 wants to send a message to P2. Okay, so he sends to every site because it is a broadcasting message. So from P1, the request goes to everybody, P2, P3, P4, for example. So it sends the request. What request they are going to send? I is nothing but the site number and N is nothing but the sequence number. This message goes to all process. Step 2, the receiving site PJ, on receiving the request, it sets the Rj of I is equal to max of Rj of I comma n. Say, for example, P2 is the receiving end. So in P2, the ith element value of Rj is 0. And what is the n? N has already come with 1, the sequence number 1. So 0 comma 1. So maximum of 0 comma 1 is going to be 1. That value is going to be assigned to Rji is equal to 1. So if Pj is not executing the CS, okay, so then only the PI can get into the critical section. Okay, PI is not executing the critical because currently the token is with the PJ. Okay, currently the token is with PJ. So the condition should be PJ should not be executing or it should not execute or should not be in the critical section. And if Rj of I is equal to token I plus 1. So R is equal to token plus 1. So if these two values are equal, then they release the token to the requesting site. Then the requesting site will get into the step 3. The requesting site will get into the critical section only if they receive the token. Fourth one, the releasing of critical section, they'll say that token is equal to R. If both the values, if it is equal, then they are ready to release from the critical section and the token is ready to go to the next site. So how they will release the token to the next site? The condition is the queue should not be empty. Somebody should be there in the queue, okay, who is there waiting for this particular critical section. So only then this condition will apply. So Ri of j is equal to token j plus 1. So R is equal to token plus 1. If you increment, if the values of R and the token of I, if it is equal, then the token will be released to the process which is on the top of the queue. I hope you have understood. Okay. So the next step I will explain you with the one example, then you will understand it very clearly. Okay, so let me take this one. Please, listen carefully. There are four networks, four sites, P1, P2, P3, and P4. And imagine P2 has the token because the dot I have given, P2 has the token, in the initial stage. Now, what is the R array? R1, it is nothing but P1, 0, 0, 0, 0. P1, P2, P3, P4. P1, P2, P3, P4. All four sites. It's a broadcasting network, correct? So then R2 has 0, 0, 0, 0. And your token array also 0, 0, 0, 0. Initially, Q is equal to empty. Nobody is there. Nobody is requesting. This is initial stage. Okay, initial state. Then R3, 0, 0, 0, 0. And R4, 0, 0, 0. This is first state, initial state. Now, second state, come to the point number 2. Second state, P1 is requesting for the critical section. So when P1 is requesting for the critical section, you can see the diagram. P1 sends the request to P4, P1 sends the request to P3, P1 sends the request to P2. All three people will receive the request. Okay. But who is having the token? The P2 is having the token currently. So what will happen? R2, 0, 0, 0, 0, T 0, 0, 0, but Q becomes 1 because one request has come from site 1. So now he has to check two conditions, correct? He has to check two conditions. What is the request message is coming? P1 from site 1. What is 1? 0 plus 1. N is equal to 0. Ith element plus 1. So that is 1. Okay, so the maximum is going to be, so there are two conditions you have to check. Am I right? So what the P2 will do, RD2, this is nothing but the deferred request what we have studied in the Ricart-Agarwala algorithm. Okay, so if the site is not having the token, they are not able to get into the critical section. So R1 request, RD2 has to find out what is the 1. What is 1? The 1 is nothing but from site 1 it is coming. What is the site 1 value in R2 array? Is going to be 0. Okay, that is going to be 0. You can see here R2 0, 0, 0, 0. So first value is 0. So RD2, the first element P1 value is 0 and 1. And what is Sn? What is the n is coming from P1? The request is coming 1, 1. So n is greater than RD2 of 1. So this condition is true. RD2, do you remember this? What I told here? Rni of j should be greater than n. Okay. So if it is n is less, and I'm talking about in the reverse way. Now what I'm telling? N should be greater than RD2 of 1. So if n is greater than RD2 of 1, the condition is true. What do you mean by that? It is not an outstanding, outdated message. So they are able to send the token to that particular site. I hope you are following what I'm saying. Okay, so n should be greater than RD. How you are calculating? RD2 is nothing but in RD2. Okay, the deferred queue, array, they are checking 1. The ith element is first element, that is P1. The value is 0. And the n what is coming from the request is 1. So n is 1 is greater than 0. So this condition is true. So once you follow this condition, after this condition is true, what will happen? P1, you can see the first element will change everywhere. 1, 1. In R4 also it will become 1. Okay. So everywhere it becomes 1, 0, 0, 0. Here 1, 0, 0, 0. R2 1, 0, 0, 0. R3 1, 0, 0, 0. You can see here, now the queue is 1. Now what is the second condition they have to check? To release the token to that particular site which is requesting for the token. So R is equal to, R of I is equal to T plus 1. So what is the T plus 1? R is 1, T is 0. So R is equal to 1 is equal to 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 becomes 1. So R is equal to T. So the value is equal. So now you can release the token to the site 1 which is requesting for the token. Is it clear to you? Condition 2 is clear. So let me repeat again. R is equal to T. That is the condition to release the token from the current site. So what is the R? R value is nothing but the first value, that is nothing but the site 1. Okay, that is equal to the token value is 0. 0 plus 1. You can see here, I think we have done it over here. So Rni of j is equal to token, that is ln j plus 1. So that means then site Sj is currently requesting the token. Okay, so this is the condition what we are checking for. Okay, so now once this condition is Rni, so simply we are saying R is equal to T plus 1, token plus 1. So here R is equal to T plus 1. So 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1 is equal to R1, R, that is 1, 1 is equal to 1. So then we can release the token. So what is the next diagram? After condition 2, what happens here? You can see R1, 1, 0, 0, 0, and the T becomes 0, 0, 0, 0. But you can see here P2, from here the token has moved to P1. Now the queue becomes empty. Here Q had one person, that is P1. Now the queue is empty because the token has gone to P1. So now imagine P1 completes the CS. Okay, so he is completing the critical section. So once P1 completes the critical section, what was the condition we checked? T is equal to R. Okay, T is equal to R. You see here, after executing his critical section, a site SI updates Ln of I is nothing but T and Rn of I. So T is equal to R. Okay, the token array is equal to R. Okay, to indicate that its request corresponding to the sequence number Rn of I has been executed. So he is getting completed, or he done with the critical section. So his value become T is equal to R. So now you can see here R1 100 and T is equal to 1, 0, 0, 1. I have to change the value. So R is equal to T. So once I assign this value, now P1, the token what he has, he can release to the next person. Okay. So this is the way how your site will get into the critical section and they release the token. Say for example, I hope you have understood till now.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody. So are you able to follow this one?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir. We are getting
Clear?
it, sir.
Till now it
We're
is
getting
clear?
it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now let us, think in another way. Say for example, while P1 is completing its critical section, now P3 and P4 requesting simultaneously for the critical section. Okay, so P3 and P4 requesting simultaneously. You can see the diagram, the same thing. Okay. So here it is going to be 1 0 0 0 T 1 0 0 0. That is the initial stage. The token is with P1. So P2 same, P3 same. Now you see here P3 is requesting for P1, P4, P2, and P4 is also requesting for token. So at the same time, simultaneously, P3 and P4, they are requesting for the what? The critical section. Okay, they want to get into the critical section. Now if you see this one, when the request comes from P3 and P4, you see here the Q value is getting with two numbers, 3 and 4. So first P3 is request goes inside and P4 request goes inside. So simultaneously, even then there is a, the Q value, who comes first, they will get into the head of the queue, correct? So in this case, P3 is getting into the first place in the queue and P4 is getting the second place in the queue. So now this is the condition. Now what we have to do is, we need to check the two conditions as I told you. What are the two conditions? Now P1 has to check for P3 as well as P4. Okay, there are two deferred message for P1. Yes or no? So currently P1 is having the token. Now simultaneously P3 and P4, they are requesting for the what you can say, the they are requesting for the critical section. Now P3 and P4, when they want to request, when they are requesting for the critical section, they have to satisfy two conditions. What is that? The deferred value of RD1, here only the deferred request is checked. So RD1 of 3 is 0. What is RD1 of 3? This is the value. Okay, this is the value. RD1 of 3 is 0. And what is the request will come from P3? 3, 1. This is the request will come from R3. I mean, from P3. Okay. 3 is the site number and 1 is the sequence number. What is the sequence number? 0, ith value plus 1. N is equal to ith value plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. So here N1 is greater than RD1 of 3. Okay. So when this is satisfied, and simultaneously he will do for whom? P4 also he has to do. So RD1 of 4 is equal to 0. RD1 of 4 is also, it is equal to 0. I'm sorry. Okay, RD1 of 4 is equal to 0. So now what is the N value? N value, what the P4 might have sent? 4, 1. So here also N1 is greater than RD1 of 4. So when these two conditions are satisfied, after checking condition 1, you can see the diagram. P1, the third value of the array becomes 1, 1, 1. Okay, so 1, 1. Here it is 1, 1. Here it is 1, 1. And here it is 1, 1. Okay, so all the three sides, they will get value is getting changed to 1, 1. Okay, all these values are getting changed to 1, 1. So here you can see here 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So these are all the update which is happening inside the each and every site after checking this condition. So one more condition we have to check. What is that condition? You remember? So R is equal to T plus 1. Then only the token will go to the particular site. So what is the R is equal to T plus 1? You see here, what is the R is equal to T plus 1? So what is the value of R here? So here, this is going to be 1, okay, 0. So P1 has to give the token to P3. Okay, so token value is 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. R value is 1 and T0, the ith element of T array, 0 plus 1 becomes 1. So R is equal to T. Okay, R is equal to T plus 1, 0 plus 1. So token will be passed to P3. Okay, token will be passed to P3 now. So when you come here, you can see this diagram. So P3 got the token now, and you can see the token value is 1, 0, 1, 0. What do you mean by this 1, 0, 1, 0? Actually, here it is 0, 0. Okay. Once the calculation has been done, then only it will be added to the 0. So now T1, 0, 1, 0. So who will be there in the queue? Because 3 and 4 came at the simultaneously. Okay, they came in for the critical section. So 3 you have satisfied. So now 4 will be in the queue. Okay, 3 you have satisfied. So 4 will be in the queue. So now this will be given. So when P3 will be released, you know that. Okay, so the token will be passed to P4 now. So P3 is completing. P3, how they will complete? T is equal to R. So what is T is equal to R? Here it is 1. Previously it was 0. So 0 plus 1, it becomes 1. So R is equal to T. So when this is clear, then the token will be passed to P4. So when token will be passed to P4, you can see the condition. Now here it goes to 1, 0, 1, 0, then Q4. Now it comes to P4. So P4, in P4, what will be the T value? Can you tell me? 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay, 1, 0, 1, 0. So then Q is equal to 4. So here you are, token has been given to you. Okay, so now the value will be R is equal to T. So then T is equal T of 1, 0, 1, 1. So everywhere the node, whatever the R array you have, the token array also, the value becomes same. For every transition of the token has been given to the site, token array also getting the value same. So when R4 is 1, 0, 1, 1, so T is also 1, 0, 1, 1. So now your token is in P4. Imagine the next slide, which the next one is going to be, say for example, now again P1 is requesting for the critical section. Okay, imagine P1 is requesting for the critical section. Okay, so when P1 is requesting for the critical section, can you tell me what will be the R1 value? So previously R1 value is 1. So now it will become the ith element plus 1. So 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. Okay, so now P1 is requesting for the second time. So like this, P1 also go for third time, fourth time, and fifth time also. Is it clear? So every time he can go and increment n number of times he can go, provided if the token he has, he can get into the critical section. Okay, so this is what the Tsuchigi-Kasami algorithm, okay, is all about. So this is the way it has been executed in the network, distributed network. Okay, so this is the one, and steps already I explained to you. This is the basic algorithm, and the condition also I have checked. Okay, there are two conditions they have to check. One is how to distinguish an outdated request message, and how to determine which site has an outstanding request for the critical section. Okay, so these are the two important points we need to satisfy here, and this is the way it has been satisfied. The first condition has been satisfied in this way, and the second condition is satisfied whether it is T becomes R, or R becomes a T plus 1, so you can release it. Okay, so this is the Suzuki-Kazami algorithm, and it is based on it is based on the token, and we are not having any timestamp. We are using the sequence number to identify which site can get into the critical section. Okay, so this is it's all about the Suzuki-Kazami. And tomorrow, the next algorithm we are going to discuss, the Raymond tree algorithm. So where there we don't have any sequence number, only with the token we are going to move, and it is going to be a spanning tree concept. And you know that from the head node it has to go to the leaf node, child node. Then from the child node it can go to the leaf node. So how the token pass is happening, that is much more optimal way of doing this. The Suzuki-Kazami algorithm, that is a Raymond spanning tree algorithm. That is also what you can say the token based mutual exclusive algorithm. I hope you have understood. Anyway, I will be sharing this recording